Hey everyone, welcome to CPM. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to navigate through your MyMathLab course, show you some highlights and what you're going to be doing the majority of the time. So, after you sign in, you're going to see this screen right here. Notice in that pink box, it shows you when your temporary access expires. If you don't see that pink box, that means you don't have temporary access and you are good to go. But if you do that pink box, it's going to count you down. You have 13 days, you have 12, you have 11, so on. At any time, you can click on Upgrade Access, and it will bring you to this screen where you can either put in your access code or pay through your credit card through the website. But to get into the class, you want to click anywhere in this kind of thick black text area. And so now we are in. When you come in here, you're going to be in Course Home. There's really not a lot to do here. You kind of see like the month, but right now we have no past due assignments, current or completed assignments. If we do an entire course to date, or even if I went over to the next, I'll just go over to the next month, it will kind of show you, okay, we have 4 things due on the 7th. We have 5 things due on the 14th, 5 things due on the 21st, 5 things on the 28th, and so on. And you can see down here, I still have no past assignments, but I have some current assignments I can work on. And then I have no completed assignments since I haven't done anything yet. Okay, and we can look at that entire course as well. Okay, but that's really the only thing you're going to do there in the Course Home. I honestly don't spend any time there because you see the exact same thing right here under Homework and Tests. And Homework and Tests, you can look at every assignment you have. And so, a couple things here. It shows you in this column here when everything is due. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 things due right here on June 7th by midnight. Everything is due by midnight. And I'll tell you now, and I'm going to tell you many more times, extensions are not going to be given. So make sure you're paying attention to that column. Whatever that date is, let's do it midnight that date. With these assignments, you have no time limit. You don't have a limited amount of attempts. And because I haven't started anything, I don't have anything in the grade book. But you could see what all of your scores are down here on this column. Down here, when you have any kind of practice test or your exam, it is showing you, all it's showing you here is that you have an unlimited amount of times for that practice test. But when it comes to the actual exam, you have a time limit of 60 minutes and you only have 2 attempts. And that 60 minutes can't be broken up. So don't start the test and be like, well, I got 20 minutes. I'll start the test now and then I'll finish it later. It doesn't work like that. So make sure you have a block of an hour to take that test. And as you scroll down here, it's the same thing. You practice test your exam, you practice test your exam, practice test an exam. So always 60 minutes, 2 attempts for those exams. So let's just jump into homework and I'll show you some stuff. When you start here, notice that right off the back, now that I've clicked this, I have a 0%. When you click on an assignment, it counts everything wrong, so don't freak out about that. As you get more problems right, that goes up. So just kind of a heads up there. These 2 things here, you do need to click on. This first one is a video, and I'm just going to click on it really quickly and exit out. You don't even have to let this load. Same thing with your e-text. You don't even, well, that did load, but you don't have to let it load. Now here, you have a check mark besides both of those, and it shows you that you got 1 point out of 1 point. Sometimes what happens is you guys will complete all of these questions here and you'll look at your current score and it's still not 100%, and it's more than likely because you didn't click on those 2 things. So this first one here is just a video. And it's a video by the author. This is one place that you can go to get all of your information and kind of get a lecture for. In a different video, I'm going to show you another place on your Moodle that you can get lessons as well. And then this is, again, your ebook. It takes you to the exact section that this homework's over. I don't think a lot of people find this very helpful, but in case you want to know where your ebook is, that's exactly where it is. That only brings it up one section at a time, though. If you do go here to your e-text, this will be your entire book. So if you don't want to just look at section 1.7, you come here and for some reason there's an error, but if you go here, it will bring up the entire book. It's just not working for some reason, but it's always worked before. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to homework and tests. And so now I have a score, right? So everything else is wrong, but don't let that scare you. So we got our 2 easy points. Now let's start working through the problems. This one here is a vocabulary question. And so if you kind of notice here, you only have, it says final check. You only have one attempt to get this problem right. So it says, and 3 to the 6th equals 729. The 3 is called the base. The 6 is called the exponent, but we're going to get this wrong. We're going to say it's called multiplication. When I hit final check, it tells me automatically one of these or more is incorrect. It says your first answer is correct, but your second answer is incorrect. From here, you can do 2 different things. You can hit next question, which is what's kind of already here in blue. That kind of wants you to do almost. Or we can hit similar question. Now, more times than not, you're going to just hit similar question. I'm going to hit this little X in the top right-hand corner. So now notice it shows you here that we've got partial credit. We got part of it right and part of it wrong. And when you click on this little down arrow here, it will even show you exactly that as well. We got 0.5 out of 1 point. We have the base right, and if you kind of click on that little red arrow, it will tell you you answered multiplication, but the correct answer is exponent. So now we have learned the error in our ways. I'm going to hit similar question. Notice it changes the numbers, but the problem is the exact same, right? Originally it said and 3 to the 6th equals 729. Now it says and 3 to the 5th equals 243. So similar problem, not the exact same, but almost the same. And so now I get to attempt it again. So now I know that the 3 is the base and the 5 is called the exponent. And now I can hit final check and we've got it right. Typically you're going to hit next question. I'm going to hit this X again. And so now look, we have just a check mark, not a check and an X. So now I have full credit for this question. And so when I click that down arrow, now I've just got 1 out of 1. On my end, I never even see that you got this problem wrong even once. I just see you got credit for it. Every single problem in MyMathLab, you can get right. You can try it multiple times, however many times it takes you to get that problem right. So all of your homework problems, all of your homework assignments, if you have the time and the perseverance to sit there and work through it, you can and should get a 100 on every single homework assignment. I'm going to go on to the next problem. It's another definition. I'm going to keep going. That's a definition. Okay, now in this one, it tells me to watch the section video and answer the questions below. And then it's going to tell you what example to refer to. In this first problem, it says refer to example 1. If I arrow over, now it says example 4 right here. If we go over again, it now says example 7. Notice all of these have a final check as well, right? So we get one try with these. I am more than likely going to take all of these watch the section lecture video ones out. But just in case I don't, or just in case I accidentally forget one, what you want to do is go up here to assigned media, and you want to click on that video that we already clicked on before. So because this problem here says example 7, don't watch this entire video.
In this segment, we will introduce
if you kind of notice here, when it starts off,
let's begin by
it has 1 out of 10.
product.
That means she's showing you example 1.
Another factor of 12,
so I want to kind
a
of fast
third
forward.
factor
I'm not going to
of
watch
12.
this all the way to example 7.
There is a short
I want to fast
annotation
forward
we
till that
can
says
use
7 out
when
of
we
10.
have
Now I believe on
repeated
yours
multiplication
it has
of
little
that
arrows, and so
same
you can actually
factor, in
arrow
this case
over to
12.
example 2,
And
to
it's
example
called
3, to example
exponential
4.
notation.
So use those little
So
arrows.
we can
But
write
for me, I'm going to
this
have to just go 15
and this
minutes ahead.
one time using my phone. Patient, it will
So
multiply.
see how that's now 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10,
is 15, all up, then, and now
6,
so let's
and now
suppose
7.
we have 14.
So now this says
divided by
7 out of 10.
7
This is where I
times
want to watch. I
2
don't want to watch that entire
plus
thing.
3.
And like I said, on
This is an
yours, I believe you have
expression.
like little
I want to
arrows
find
right
the
here
value
beside
of this
it.
expression. So let's
And
look
so
at
if
our
you click on those
operations. I
arrows
have
instead of fast
division,
forwarding, it will just go
multiplication,
exactly to
addition,
example 2, example 3,
multiplication
the
and
lecture, example 4,
division
example
are
5.
higher
But
in order of
don't watch this
operations.
entire
And
thing.
remember, we are told to multiply.
I'm again more than likely going to take those out, so hopefully you won't even have to worry about them, but just in case. So I'm going to keep going. I want to go to an actual problem. That one says example 10. Okay, so now here. This is the first one where we sort of have some math involved. And so notice down here, it doesn't say final check anymore. It has check answer. When it is definition or multiple choice, you are only going to have one attempt to do those problems. So you'll see final check down here. But when it's more of a math problem where you're having to type in the answer, you're going to have 3 attempts before you have to hit similar question. So in this one, it says write using exponential notation. So my base is a 9. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So this will be 9 to the 8th. Okay, that's what we want to type into this box here. Now, just to kind of show you that we have 3 attempts, I'm going to get the first 2 wrong. So I'm going to click in this box here. When you click in the box, all you are going to see at the bottom is this little bar of mathematical gadgets. Okay, those are your best friends. That's how you put in your fractions, your exponents, square roots, all kinds of your mathematical symbols. On mine, you see all of this junk here because I'm doing this on my iPad so I can record this. So yours won't see that. You will just have that bar of all your mathematical tools. Okay, but the one we need for this is this little guy right here. If you notice, they didn't get fancy with these buttons. That looks like an exponent. And if you notice, what's in blue is the exponent. So when you click that, that's what you're getting, is that cursor going up to your exponent place. So that's the button we're needing here. So to type this in, we're going to hit our 9 first, hit your base, then hit that exponent button I was talking about. And now it would be to the 8th power, but we're getting it wrong, so we're going to say to the 7th power. When I hit enter, it tells me that is incorrect. So I'm going to read my little instruction here, get my little hint, and now we get to try it again. It doesn't change the problem. So now let's say we went in here and we miscounted again, or our fingers hit the wrong button by accident. We said 9 to the 9th. Okay, it says try again. And if you notice down here again, it still said check answer, right? So I had check answer for the first attempt, check answer for the second attempt. Now when I hit OK, now this goes to final check. So if I get this wrong, I'm either going to not get credit for it or I have to hit similar question to try it again. So now we put on our glasses and now we know it is actually to the 8th. Hit enter and it says well done. Usually you hit next question. I'm going to hit my X. And now we have full credit. So I can't even tell that you missed it 2 times before you got it that next time. What I do kind of suggest though is that if it does take you 2 or 3 attempts, you can go ahead and hit similar question again and try the problem. You want to be able to try and do these where you don't need 2 and 3 attempts because you're not going to have 2 or 3 attempts on your test, right? So you can hit similar question even if you've got credit. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nines. Okay, and so we still get that credit for that problem. So you can still hit similar question if you just want more practice. I'm going to go to the next one. Now this one we have 2 different bases. So my first base is 7. And how many 7s do I have? We have 2 7s. So I'm going to hit my exponent button and hit a 2. Now I need to put a dot in between it. But if you notice, anything I type, that's all going up in the exponent place. If you kind of look at this, that cursor is still upstairs, right? It's in that small exponent place. So to get out of that exponent, you need to either arrow over. You either need to arrow over to the right or you need to arrow down. Doesn't matter which you do, you get the same thing on either of them, but you're either arrowing over to the right or down. And when that happens, my cursor now leaves that exponent little location. So now I can do my dot and we can do 5, hit your exponent button again to the 3rd power. And this seems very overwhelming at first with the buttons and how to put it in, and you'll get frustrated because you know what it's supposed to look like. You just can't get it to look like that, but just kind of stick with it. The more you practice it, it will eventually become very easy and very second nature. And what I like about MyMathLab is if you notice, we're getting immediate feedback, right? You're not having to wait for me to grade your math homework. You know automatically if you're getting it right or if you're getting it wrong. So that's what's really nice about this software. Now, what if we get to this problem here and we have absolutely no idea what to do? Well, all hope is not lost. In this top right-hand corner, beside your assigned media, is question help. When you hit question help, we have 5 different things that we can do here. I would say what my personal favorite one is this view an example. And I'm going to go through these and show you guys what each one looks like, but this is exactly what it sounds like. It doesn't take this exact problem. It takes a problem that's similar to it, and it shows you how to work through it. The second one, I would say, is this help me solve it. And when you use help me solve this, it actually takes this problem here and walks you through it with those exact numbers. And then your third one you're going to use is ask my professor, and I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. Now, even though I like view an example more, some people actually do like that help me solve this one more. So you can kind of use these back and forth however you like. So let's let me show you what those look like. If I use this problem to view an example, notice that my problems are different, right? I have this problem with these numbers and it's showing me an example with completely different numbers. So you just kind of work through and read this. You hit continue to keep going through the problem, and then eventually it works it out, talks you through it, and it shows you what the answer is. What I like about this is math is just a pattern, right? So if you see the pattern, you know what to do. So if you kind of use these side by side, you can figure out what to do. Now, sometimes the view and example shows you a different way to solve something than we teach you. Sometimes it's written like a math book and it's just simply hard to understand. And sometimes they make it way more complicated than it needs to be, right? It's not perfect, but that is the one I prefer. If that's still not enough help, I'm like, okay, I still don't know what to do. I'm going to use Help Me Solve This. So now the problem that I was given is the exact problem we are going to work through. Now, sometimes this gives you way more steps than you need, but you kind of work through it. Okay. In the product, how many times is 4 a factor? 2 times. Okay. How many times is 9 a factor? That would be 1 time. How many times is 6 a factor? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. In this problem, the bases are 4, 9, and 6. Their exponents are, 2, 1, and 4. Okay, so then now write this in exponential notation. That's 4 squared times 9 times 6 to the 4th. All right, so well done. But notice something here. Even though I've got this green check here and it tells me well done, like you do when you get a problem right, if you look at your actual problem, we've got it wrong. Once they walk you through this problem, now they expect you to be able to do it on your own. So when you hit OK, now I've got a completely different problem. And now I've got to redo it to get credit. And that's personally why I don't like the Help Me Solve It. It's because after you work through it, now you have to redo it. Some people prefer this over the view and example, so pick whichever method you like. But just be aware when they walk you through that problem step by step, now you've got to redo your own problem. And then the third option is Ask My Professor. And what's cool about this is it already has my email address up at the top. So you don't have to find my email, figure it out. If you want to write me a question or a comment to send, you can. But notice it says here in parentheses, a link to the question will be included with your message. So if you don't write anything, so I'm not even going to write anything here. And now I hit send. I'm going to give it a minute to send that to me. I'm going to show you what I see on my end, because what's going to happen is I'm going to be given, here it is. So if you write me a message, it shows it somewhere on here, but it will show me here who is sending it to me. It will tell me the lesson, the question number, but more importantly, it gives me this link here. When I click on that link, it takes me to your exact problem. So you don't even have to describe to me what you are seeing, what you are struggling with. I'm going to see exactly what you see, the numbers and everything. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so those are your options for Help Me Solve, or for getting you through the questions. And remember, as we can see here, I've got that question 10 wrong. But we've got a similar question, right? So if we work through here, now I've got that right. Okay, so don't let those wrong questions just linger there. you've got tools to kind of help you get every question here right. Okay, so that's your homework. That's kind of the highlights of what you need to know as far as your homework goes. Okay, and as you can see, as I've been working through this, I now already have basically a 21% here. So that goes up quickly as you keep working on your homework. I kind of already mentioned this, but I want to show you again. When you hit practice test, what's going to be different about this is when you hit start test, notice here, we have no help me solve it. Okay, so it gets you away from needing that constant help. And another thing about this, and this is going to be what your test is like. Let me do another one not have to actually think about. Okay, when you put in your answer here, it doesn't tell you if you're right or wrong until you submit that test. So even though I have 39 questions unanswered, yes, I'm still going to submit that test. And now it shows you which ones you got right and which ones you got wrong. So you want to use that practice test to kind of help you. It gets you away from that question help, and it gets you away from that immediate, that immediate feedback if you got it right or wrong. And so that's going to be more of what your test is like as well. Notice that tells you on this one, though, that you have 2 attempts at this test, and you do have a time limit of 60 minutes. So again, make sure you have a block of 60 minutes. You can't start it and then pick it back up later. Okay, so I think that's all you need to know on your homework. The only other sort of things you might want to know on here is you can find your syllabus under Course Home. And then the other important thing is your grade book. So your grade book here shows you exactly what your score is. So it will show you everything you've been doing, and you can do this for, the entire course if you want. It'll show you the entire course, and it's going to show you what your percentage is in this class. So if I did nothing else, right now I'd have a 9.78% in this class. So that's the highlights on how to use your MyMathLab homework. If you have any questions, please don't be afraid to send me an email.